Right, so in this video we're going to have a look at what's wrong with our engine. So we're going to start by removing the inlet manifold and then take off the cover for the cylinder head. But first we have to remove some of this pipe work and then undo these screws that are located all around here. And probably the worst ones are on this side of the inlet manifold. And you can see they're kind of buried deep down here, so no doubt they'll be a pain to remove. So if we look around the back here, we can see a bunch of hoses, including this pressure valve, which I've already removed. And it's just a case now of just disconnecting anything else that's connected to the inlet manifold. I did find one issue with the cut-off valve here. As you can see, there's a vacuum line that should be going into here that seems to have snapped off. So yeah, it's a good thing we're taking this apart, so I can fix that later. Right, so after a bit of a faff trying to get all the bolts out from under here, looks like we've got them all, as you can see. And then in addition to that, there's another 4 that I removed that kind of just holding it in on this side of the inlet manifold. So just had to move a few other things out of the way, like the dipstick, and then there was something attached here. And then I probably didn't need to completely remove this, but I couldn't quite see how it was attached, so I've just taken that off and that'll probably go back on again. But right, once I've moved the wiring, it should be good to take off the inlet manifold. Right, so with the inlet manifold removed, you can see there's just a bunch of bolts holding the cover on for the cylinder head. So let's get all of those undone and see what horrors lie beneath. Right, so with the cover removed, we can now have a look at what's happened. If we come here to the chain, we can see it's, yeah, probably not supposed to be this loose. So clearly we got an issue with the tensioner or the guides. And unfortunately it looks like this has led to the chain jumping and causing the pistons to hit a number of the valves, as I'm pretty sure these rocker arms are not supposed to be this loose, and probably explains why we've got like 0 compression on half the cylinders. On the positive side, if we have a look at the cams, there's some slight marks on there, but doesn't seem to be anything too serious, so hopefully they're still okay. And looks like we're going to have to think about pulling the engine. And in order to do that, we're probably going to take it out from the front, so we're going to need to remove the bumper and the lights and the radiator and the crash bar and everything, and then get the hoist in and see if we can get this thing out. Right, so I started to undo all the bolts on top of this bumper here, and next up we're going to get these headlights out. Now apparently there's a bit of a trick if you use this thing here. So I've just got my socket here, and if you put this on and give it a twist, it should then unlock the headlights and allow you to pull them out. I think this one's a bit stuck, but yeah, you can see it's moving, so that's good. Always trickier with one hand. And yeah, and you can just see it's the same on the other side. So next up, we're underneath the car. As you can see, we can try and remove the under tray, and there's just a bunch of bolts kind of here, and there, which we'll just undo. And then there's probably a bunch at the back. You can see there's a few in the middle as well, which we'll just need to undo. So yeah, get some oil on those, give it a few minutes, and then hopefully they should all come out. Oh dear, so just removing the bolts at the back of the engine cover, I can see there's a rather nasty oil leak coming from the back of the engine. Doesn't look good. So with the under tray removed, there's this cover here that we just need to remove, and then there's a bolt up here which we also need to undo just to remove this cover. So here I've got my trusty T30 socket, and now we're just going to start undoing the bolts along the bottom of the bumper. So hopefully these aren't too seized, as they usually are. So just crack this loose. There we go. So yeah, just start undoing all of these and onto the next one. So if we come around to the side of the bumpers where the side indicators are, there's a bunch of bolts here that just need to be undone. It's a bit difficult to film here. Probably should take the tyre off, but that'll be too much work. So yeah, I'll try and get the camera in, and you can see one of them there. So similar kind of Torx socket. Just get in there and just undo those, and then hopefully that will free the bumper up from the wing. Right, so with all the bolts removed, we've now got the bumper off, and it's just a case of pulling the bumper forward, and then it should drop down, and then we just need to undo that connector and get the bumper out of the way. Right, so I've started to undo some of the crash bar bolts here. See, there's 2 at the bottom and 2 at the top, which I've done. And then there's this plastic shroud that goes around the radiator, and there's these little side bits that I've also removed. So yeah, just got the horns here that I need to undo, and then hopefully all of this can come off as well. Right, so it's worth mentioning just before removing the crash bar, you can see I've got the bolts undone here and here. Just around the back here there's a clip that's holding the main radiator on. As you can see here, there's these little clips that you just need to undo on both sides, and then that should allow us then to get the crash bar off. So with the crash bar off and on the floor, you can see where the clips go in on both sides. And next off we're going to remove this section here, which is like the shroud that goes around the radiator. So you can see it's already loose. So there's some bolts here that we need to undo, and we come around the side here on the wing, there's some, and we're probably going to need to remove the bracket here as well for the bumper. And then we have the airbag sensors here, which we're going to have to carefully remove, see if we can disconnect them. And then we've got the piece here which is attached to the bonnet latch, which we're going to have to disconnect as well. Right, so with the plastic shroud removed, we can now get a good look at the radiators. And as you can see, there's 4 on this car. There's the main one at the back for the engine, and then there's the one to the transmission, the air conditioning and the power steering. Okay, so we'll probably start by draining the main radiator, so we'll remove the fan as well, so disconnect that. And then there's the drain plug is just down here with this little screw that okay, we'll need to fix that later. And then we can then start separating it. So I have to be careful here with the air conditioning radiator, as I don't want the gas to escape. And then we've also got the little one for the power steering there that we can probably just unclip. So we've got the coolant now draining out the bottom of the radiator, and as you can see, the screw has seen better days, so we'll need to get a new one of those. And if you want this to go a bit quicker, you can undo this on top of the expansion tank, and that should make it go a lot quicker. And if you didn't need to go to the toilet, then you probably do now. So next we're going to remove the cooler for the automatic transmission, which is just a case of undoing these 2 connections here. And then we can also remove the power steering cooler here, and there's just a couple of hoses on the side which we can just disconnect and then get that out of the way. So the only thing I need to be careful of is this air conditioning radiator and the compressor, as I don't want to have to degas this and refill it. Right, so we've now got the radiator separated from the car just by disconnecting the top and bottom hoses here, as you can see. Just a word of warning, if you want to remove these pipes, there are some bolts on here and also on the air conditioning radiator, which are a complete nightmare to remove as they were seized, and I had to drill them out, but at least we've got them off now and the radiator is now off the car. So next up we're going to start removing some of this stuff, the AC compressor and the belts, obviously trying to leave this attached. And next up we're going to take off the alternator. So you can see here it's possible just to get the air conditioning radiator out of the way, and in order to remove the belt you can just put a bolt here into the tensioner and then that makes it loose enough so that we can get the belt off. So the alternator is now removed and there's just 2 bolts holding that on, as you can see. And I've also unbolted the AC compressor, and there's just 2 at the front and 1 at the back. And I've also undone the power steering pump, and there's just 3 bolts there holding that on to the bracket. And then there's the tensioner itself, which has just got 3 bolts holding that on. So next up, I've been removing the exhaust manifold bolts, and as you can see, they've got these studs that go into the cylinder head and these copper nuts which make this job a lot easier. And there's 3 here that are holding the manifolds onto the cats. So yeah, I'm just going to continue undoing these. Right, so now I've got the manifolds removed. As you can see, I've got most of the studs out, which makes it easier to remove them off the cylinder head, and here they are. As you can see, they still seem to be in pretty good condition, and it wasn't too much of a problem taking them out, as usually it's a nightmare. Okay, so next up we're going to try and remove the starter motor. So the starter motor is now out, and it's held on with these 2 bolts, one at the bottom and one at the top. So the bottom one you can get to from the front here, and then the one at the top you need to go from the back, and there is enough room to get a spanner in there, so that's okay. And I've also been disconnecting other bits of the wiring, as you can see. Total spaghetti, and hopefully I remember where all this stuff goes. Next up, we need to unbolt the flywheel from the torque converter, and as you can see, I've got this rather elaborate setup with a load of extensions, and I've used a breaker bar just to crack these nuts loose as they're rather tight, as you can see. So there's 3 of these, and you can just get to them by turning the engine. Okay, so we're getting pretty close now, and I'm just removing the last few bits and pieces just to hopefully make the extraction a bit easier. So here you can see I've just removed one of the coolant hoses. We'll just pop it down here, and I've also depressurized and disconnected the pipe going into the fuel rail, as you can see. And then I'm also going to unplug these, which have just got some clips on the back, and these go into the heater matrix. So I've now started unbolting the engine from the transmission. As you can see, this rather crude diagram, I've marked all the bolts, and as you can see, I've already taken one out at the back here and just working on the other one. And there is enough access that you can just get a ratchet in here, as you can see. So yeah, just carry on doing that until they're nearly all out. So here are all the bolts removed, and I've put them into this handy cardboard template, and I've left these 2 in until we're ready to pull the engine. So in order to give us enough clearance for the hoist, I've just put the car up on these 2 axle stands. So yeah, next up, let's get the hoist into position. So it's the following morning, and I've now got the hoist into place, set to 500 kilograms, which should be enough to lift this beast. And as you can see, I've got the health and safety, so I don't destroy the air conditioning radiator. And in order to lift it, I've bought these rather over-spec'd ratchet straps that we can hopefully wrap around the engine and get this bad boy out of here. So we've got the ratchet straps now all attached, as you can see. We've got the big chunky orange one going around the 2 mounts on the bottom of the engine, and I've just attached an additional one on the cylinder head just to support it as a safety precaution. So right, let's pull the engine. Okay, so here it is. The engine is finally out of the car. Just got it resting on a tyre for now. So yeah, that wasn't actually too bad in the end. And yeah, we can now look to get this thing stripped down. The only problem I did have, as you can see, is the mountings. So I had to undo the top bolts, as the bottom bolts didn't come undone from the subframe. But here's the torque converter still attached to the transmission, and that's just being supported by a jack. So yeah, that's it for this video. In the next one, we're going to be tearing this thing down and seeing how much damage lurks inside. Thanks for watching.